up? Welcome back to Puzzle Masters Puzzle Insider. And today we've got some interesting news as always. We'll start with the design competition results. So for those of you who don't know, every year the most serious puzzlers in the world unite together to do an international puzzle party. In this huge puzzle party, every member brings his own puzzles and everyone solves puzzles together. In this party there's also a puzzle design competition where puzzles all around the world compete against each other for the title of the best puzzle of the year. Usually the competition is physical, but because of the pandemic in the last 2 years the competition has been online. The puzzles are voted by the puzzlers that come to the party and a jury that consists of 5 very experienced puzzlers and puzzle designers. The judging criteria are innovation, physical design, positive solving experience, and overall desirability. How much would you want this puzzle to be in your collection? And the puzzle of this year has been announced lately, which is the Sequential Discovery Cube box by Junichi Ananose, a very harmless cube that looks super simple, but inside packs a lot of sequential discovery tools and whatnot. Another interesting puzzles that we saw in this year's design competition is the Coherent Convoys. This is a very weird puzzle and I don't understand what needs to be done here. Seems like in this puzzle you need just to move the pieces from one side to another so that all the blue pieces are in the blue side and all the red pieces are in the red side. This looks like an N-ary puzzle to me and I would personally be interested to try it. Some other puzzles that we see here from the jury honorable mention are Box of the Celts by Numbskull Puzzles, Burbot by Andrew Crowell, a Bur that is also a sequential discovery puzzle, Chiral 2 and 2 by Koichi Miura, Anayama Cast Cyclone by Q Wong, Flip Bowl by George Bell, and 4-Pack by Hajime Katsumoto. And also we have top 10 vote getters, which are the Boxy by Laszlo Molnar, Brass Monkey 4, Croissant, Feed the Monkey, Oscube, Rescue, and Turtle Trip. You may want to check these puzzles out because they just gained worldwide recognition as good puzzles. At least you can check the Cyclone by Q Wong, which is very available, and the others are a bit harder to get. There's so many puzzles that are available in more than one version. One of them is usually available to the public, very cheap, made of fine quality. And the other version is a premium version that costs 10 times more, looks much better, and is very rare. And there are many puzzles like that. You have the Casino by Dr. Volko Latusek, very highly available from Rumble. This is the classic version. Everyone who buys Casino usually buys it in this version. But there's also the Eric Fuller version from a few years ago, which is extremely rare and very desirable and very expensive. And especially now since it's not in production anymore. There's also other puzzles like this. For example, Akaki's Picnic, which is also available in plastic, very cheap, but there's also the cubic dissection version, which is made of wood, and basically it's the same puzzle, but just from very high quality material. And another example for that, this is even more extreme, okay? One puzzle, 2 versions. One of them is wooden, very high quality from Pelican. This time we start with premium quality. But the other one is Thor's Hammer, but made from metal. And this one costs around 4 times as much. I held the metal one. This feels insane. It's an entirely different feeling. But the question is, what would you prefer? To buy a puzzle that is cheap but good and you can buy more of them? Or would you rather prefer to buy only the very high quality premium puzzles for your collection and ignore the cheaper ones? And yet again, I will refrain from saying my own opinion because I want you guys to discuss this in the comments. Feel free to drop your opinions, whatever it is. There's no wrong answer. And let's move on to the next article. If you've been a few weeks into puzzling, you probably know who is Brian Young. This is one of the best puzzle builders in the world and a very, very good puzzle designer who designed countless sequential discovery limited edition puzzles that are very sought after. One of the limited edition puzzles he has designed in the past years is the Opening Bat, which is a puzzle that resembles a bat for cricket. One of the locks in this puzzle was interesting enough for Mr. Young to produce another puzzle out of this lock. And this lock mechanism made the Houdini's torture cell. The Houdini's torture cell has been produced in 2011. 282 copies were made and were exchanged in IPP 31 in Berlin. It was sold originally for 47 Australian dollars, which is very, very cheap. But when auctioned, Houdini torture cells got insane insane prices on it. Insane prices. June 2017, it was sold for $230. Public auction in January 2020, 455 euros. Puzzle Paradise on August 2020, 1,000 British pounds. That's insane. And this is even more crazy. May 2021, it was sold on Puzzle Paradise for 2,400 Australian dollars. This is groundbreaking. And then something very good happened. Back in Mr. Puzzle, they decided to remake this puzzle. But this time, they made it from metal. Like the brass cannon, they mass-produced the Houdini Torture Cell. So now this puzzle is available to the mass public and costs only 32 Australian dollars, which is fantastic. This is around 25 US dollars. I think this is amazing news. Me personally, I'm all in for making puzzles as public as possible. I asked you about it. So first of all, it was a big project. It required a lot of ping pong between Brian Young and the Chinese manufacturer because there are some parts that really need to be tested to start production. Production in general is a very difficult sport. Also, I was really hoping that this would be the start of making a lot of more limited puzzles unlimited, but currently there's no plans from Mr. Puzzle's team to make more puzzles available to the mass public. It's just impossible to make limited puzzles like the opening bat or the SMS box available to the mass public, and that's because they're just too complex to make. The Houdini Torture Cell has probably been a special occasion where this is possible, but usually this won't be possible, which saddens me a bit, but also I'm actually not very surprised. Now this has been confirmed. All the puzzles that are framed as limited from Mr. Puzzle back to 1993 will not be ever available again from Mr. Puzzle, but only from the second hand. I always say that puzzles are art, and there's one artist that agrees with me actually. The designer of the month is Laszlo Tompa, an artist in sculpture. Originally, he was working with ceramics. Lately, decided to make his first puzzles. Now, before we go into the puzzles, I just wanted to see his beautiful works. He makes some amazing designs out of wood, and he also works with CNC. Check out the works. They are made of shapes that are tied together to create even more interesting sculptures. Laszlo's works are selling for thousands of dollars on his website, and lately something inspired him to make some puzzles. He wanted to do it for a long time, and he did it using CNC. Now CNC, keep in mind, is more expensive than laser cut wood. Laszlo wanted to create a puzzle that also would be very artistic, simple, and beautiful to the eye, and minimalistic. These two puzzles are pretty simple concepts, but for me it looks very hard to solve these puzzles. One of them are plates with cylinders in different shapes that you need to just fit one on another, find the perfect place for every one of the pieces until you build a nice block of cylinders and plates that looks pretty good. It looks very good. And the other one is a cube, which is built from squares and holes. You need to fill the holes in the squares with different types of cylindrical pyramid shapes. These are the two puzzles from Laszlo so far. They are highly priced because they're made from CNC. There's plans from Laszlo to make even more puzzles. One of them is a smaller version of the Rococo puzzle. Another one is a tower building puzzle and also a more artistic and wood-turned Rococo. Laszlo's puzzle design style is minimalistic in any case. It is a combination of simple rectangles and cylinders which create abstract visuals. So I just want to thank Laszlo for contributing with his talents to the puzzle world, and let's move on to the creator of the month. He's a lockpicker, he's a cuber, he's the lockpicking cuber. Ben from the Lockpicking Cuber, he's been making videos one after another, sometimes even 2 or 3 videos a week. I reached out to the Lockpicking Cuber and wanted to know him a little bit more for our episode here on Puzzle Masters Puzzle Insider, and for you guys. The Lockpicking Cuber has revealed some interesting information not yet revealed anywhere else, and this is what it is. So first of all, he is working in a big tech company in London, one of the ones you've heard of. He has a wife, 2 kids, and lives near Cambridge in the United Kingdom. So what made Ben start this channel? The more into locks I got, the more I realized that locking them was exactly like solving puzzles, and that could make a good theme for a channel. I guess I started out thinking it would be more focused on locks, but I've tended to gravitate more towards puzzles. So the interesting thing about the Lockpicking Cuber is that he makes a lot of different videos. Sometimes you can see him solve a riddle, sometimes he solves an escape room, sometimes he picks locks, and sometimes he even solves twisty puzzles. The wide range of puzzles he's solving on his channel makes him stand out, and this is indeed something that he says about himself. It's a puzzle solving channel for sure, so what makes mine stand out? I guess first of all, this combination of puzzles and locks. I particularly like to solve puzzles that are made of locks or shaped like locks, but I combine that with looking at locks as puzzles and also solving non-lock puzzles. His favorite puzzle YouTuber is Mr. Puzzle. After that, he has discovered Chris Ramsey, and also Ben has been kind to shout out to some of the up-and-coming puzzle YouTubers like Downtown Fun, who's been here in the last episode, and Puzzle Wanderer, which is myself. Thank you very much. Both of whom produce great videos. What is your inspiration for videos? Most of all, he is making videos on things that he finds interesting, and he hopes that puzzles that he finds interesting will be also interesting for someone in the world. What's your most loved and hated puzzle? The most hated puzzle in terms of twisty puzzle is the Megaminx. The most disappointing mechanical puzzle was a couple of Jean-Claude Constantin wooden puzzles, because the quality of Constantin puzzles is usually very high, both in terms of craftsmanship and in puzzle design. The 4x4x6 Rubik's Cuboid was his favorite, but in terms of overall mechanical puzzles, I've been most blown away by the 3D printed trick lock puzzles from Louis Coullin. They were so amazing and beautifully constructed. I just want to say a quick thank you to the Lock Picking Cuber, and I'm very happy to be able to feature him in the series, support him. I do recommend you to check out the Lock Picking Cuber, and let's move on to the next article. There's been a lot of talking about escape room puzzles lately. Here's a puzzle that resembles an escape room but does it in a different way than usual. This is a combination between cryptexes and escape rooms. This is the Angel Cryptex from Lawrence Chen. This is a very special puzzle. It is basically a riddle on a box, but with two steps. You have two phases of riddles to solve and find the correct combination to crack the cryptex. It's a level 10 puzzle. What I can see from other puzzles from the same maker is that they all have some kind of code, and then you crack this code and you solve the puzzle. I would say that this is closer to a cryptex than to an escape room. It's interesting to me to see how wide is the scale of puzzles. Combining different types of puzzles can actually breed new and exciting puzzles like Angel Cryptex and like other puzzles from Lawrence. And I do find it interesting to see this rather fresh combination come into the market. I do think that there is a spectrum of escape room puzzles. Let's say that the widest of the spectrum is the sequential discovery escape rooms, which is more of the Cluebox series. Without giving away too much information, I'd say that these are very sequential discovery-ish escape room puzzle boxes. In the middle we have Escape Pods, which is not very sequential discovery but is full with riddles and steps. On the other side of the spectrum is not a lot of sequential discovery but very difficult riddles or very interesting riddles, which are the Cryptex puzzles from Lawrence Chen. I am gonna check out some of these puzzles in the future, and yeah. That's it for today's Puzzle Insider video. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you drop a like and subscribe to this channel. If you have any requests for future Puzzle Insider videos and articles and interesting things you would just really like to know about in the puzzle world, then just let us know and I will research everything for you and bring interesting articles for you to enjoy. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next time.